Hey everyone, if you are someone who's juggling 1,000 ideas in your head and hundreds of to do lists, I want you to check out Requisor. We have built Requisor to turn messy ideas into structured plans with milestones and tasks, and also having AI agents that help you execute on them. So check out Requisor.
You should.
Yeah, it's coming even still.
Good. That's good.
And, so how's your day today?
Good. It was busy. Feel like my work with my client has been really busy lately. But good stuff. I feel like Fridays, we have no meeting Fridays
Okay.
as a rule with the client. And so it's a good day to just get things done. So it's a good day to make progress on projects that may be stalled because there were so many meetings during the week or,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So how about you? How was your day?
my day was interesting. The good part is because the weather was so nice.
Yes.
It is just put a smile on my face.
Me
because
too.
It's been so
Gross.
so dreary is the
Yeah.
word. Oh,
Yeah.
it affects your mood quite a
Yeah.
bit. I don't know if it affects yours, but
Yeah, it does. I was in the office, the continuous office yesterday in the third ward, and I
Yeah.
looked out the window and I was just like, it's snowing. It was snowing really hard and nothing stuck, but just the fact that it was snowing really bugged me. I was like, no, it's April. I don't want this anymore. Undo.
Yeah, and, like if there's an AI that can you please change the weather?
Yeah, let's change the weather. No, but I'll take today. It's not super warm, but just having the sun out makes a big difference.
Big difference.
Makes me feel more positive about stuff. That's maybe silly, but
Really? Yeah.
yeah.
There's some science to it, right?
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
I was reading. It's called some weather syndrome. Maybe I'm making this up.
If I had a superpower, if I could choose any superpower, it would be to be able to remember everything I've read and where I read it.
Oh,
Because I come across stuff like that all the time. Like, oh, I know I read this thing and it was really interesting. And I probably remember like 10% of what I read.
the retention, right?
Yeah. Like, I would love to be able to remember, oh, yeah, I read it and it was in this journal or it was in this magazine or whatever. And this is what they said.
But that's what they're trying to do with what's Elon Musk's. I forget. I'm drawing a blank. The name of that company. Neuralink.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That essentially does the same thing, right?
Like catalogs all your thoughts or everything you read. Is that what it
Yes.
does? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah. It's just cool. Um, how how was the whole data governance meetup and stuff going?
Data governance meetup. That one was really good. We had some really. It was great to have some of these folks that were there for Northwestern Mutual,
Right.
and they were really interested in the data governance aspect of AI because they are literally in the position where they're realizing they've got to set up some of these rules. And so they had multiple instances. One was like a chatbot tool that's used internally. And I forget what the other one was, but they were realizing that like it's not a one size fits all thing to just have just one set of data governance rules, but depending even on the tool, you may want to tweak your guidance or your rules. And like one of the things we got into talking about was the idea that you might have this chatbot tool,
Yeah.
but it's the answers that you put into something like a chatbot can get really unpredictable if you don't know what the users are putting in. And if you can restrict, like if somebody starts to type a question about sales and then you pop up suggestions, then you
Right.
can more tightly control what the answers are. So that even if your chatbot has access to the web, for example,
Right.
you can restrict the different sites that it goes to if you can control what questions are being put in. It was a really interesting conversation to get into because it's like, yeah, I've seen that work. I've seen that in action, like
Right.
with my health insurance provider, for example. And if you have a question, it like the first thing I always do is say representative. Like I don't want to listen to your recorded spiel, or when I'm online with the chatbot, I always put in whatever the code is to like get
Yeah.
a real person. Because a lot of the time I feel like this it's not quite there yet. They don't quite match you up with exactly the answer you're looking for. And
Correct.
it's like, all right, now we got to go through this until we get a real person.
Yeah.
But so I've seen some of these things in practice. And it's interesting, though, to think that we've arrived at a place where we are deciding, like me specifically is deciding where how some of these decisions are made and how this technology is implemented.
Wow. That is interesting that you say um, that whole aspect of choosing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still think it's like frustrating to get towards that? Because my experience from I tried a few years back actually with Amazon's bots.
Yeah.
They were really good and
They were.
seamless.
Okay. It may just be the ones that I'm interacting with.
Okay.
And it may be the fact that I'm dealing with insurance and that frustrates me already. So take that with a grain of salt. But I have been in situations though where I think they're pretty good. You know, you got questions. I think I was buying tickets for something and I don't remember what the question even was. I remember that situation being more positive and like, oh yeah, they did directly match me to what I needed on that site. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So you're into like data and stuff quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So I actually wanted to ask you this. I never got the opportunity to ask this in our previous conversation, so
Yeah.
I thought maybe today is the right day to ask you a little bit about this.
Sure.
How did you get into data?
Oh, yeah, that's a long story.
We have time.
I guess, yeah, we do. So I came into the world of data before like analytics positions were a thing. So in 2002, I graduated from college and started working for a law firm. And I was a poor kid. I worked through college and paid for my schooling myself. And one of the jobs that I had was with a tech company that's local to the Milwaukee area. And I worked in sales. I was like sales support. So when I got to this job after graduating, the folks in the marketing department where I was hired looked at me and they're like, "Oh, you're the tech girl."
Okay.
Because I knew of the tech world.
Yeah.
And at that time it was very easy to say, "Oh, I'm not technical. I don't know how to do that." And people use that as a way of saying, "Well, I don't have to do that part of my job because I'm not technical." And I ended up getting a lot of projects assigned to me for that reason alone. And it actually really worked out to my benefit. I got to work on like creating web-based forms that had database backends.
Right.
I would have probably never, I was just a kid out of college. I didn't know anything about that stuff, but it was kind of like the first that this law firm was even doing that. So I got to work on projects to, like I said, create these forms, connect them to backend databases, and then run reporting off of those backend databases. And so, in a lot of ways, I started doing analytics reporting before we really even knew what that was. So I went on then to work for the marketing department for 10 years.
Right.
And I remember reading an article, I don't know if it was Wired magazine, I think it was something like that, where they were saying, you know, data is the wave of the future.
Right.
There's going to be tons of jobs in the data space in upcoming years. And they listed out like data architect, data analyst, a couple other roles. I remember reading the data analyst role. I'm like, well, that's what I do.
Right.
And like making like a clear decision that that's where I wanted to go with my career. And not long after that, there was a position open with the web systems team at the
Okay.
same law firm to be a web systems analyst.
Okay.
So I applied for that, got it, and then spent 2 years doing that before I went on to become data analyst in several other places. So what I always say, I've been working with data for about 20 years because there was no clear cutover when I started working with data, but it's probably been longer than that. It's a very non-direct path. There's a lot of people now who go to school for it. They
Exactly,
get
yeah.
their masters in it and they go out in the world and they do these things and use this technology. And I think for me, it was much more organic path. And me just following people at work said, we need someone to do this. And I thought, okay, I can do that. I'll do that. So I learned a lot of what I know on the job.
Wow, this is fascinating, and you're absolutely right. Because when I was getting into my masters, uh, they came up with MSBA as a thing, which
Yeah.
is Masters in Business Analytics.
Mm-hmm.
So that I always thought that kind of just like existed,
Yeah.
but
no.
to know that there was nothing.
There wasn't like a data science degree. You couldn't get your bachelor's in data science
Oh,
back
yeah.
in those days. Like that didn't even exist.
So you're saying like post this 1998, 1999, when the kind of the dot-com bubble
Mm-hmm.
and the all the companies in the Bay Area were kind of coming through. It's only after that that
I
you
think
started collecting all the data and this industry kind of formed, right?
I think that's pretty fair assumption. I mean, I clearly only my perspective is like of the Milwaukee area. I can only
Okay.
speak. I was in the legal industry at the time.
Yeah.
Um, But I think that's probably a pretty fair assumption because you had all your developers, your front end developers, your web developers that were creating things for the web.
Right.
But I don't think that people looked until after that to say, well, wow, we're collecting a lot of data through all these online transactions
Right.
or through our membership to something online. What are we going to do with that? And I think it probably grew organically out of these people who had jobs like, sorry,
No
that
worries.
had jobs like me that were like, oh, I'm going to report on this as just a natural extension of what I do without realizing I'm creating this whole field of analytics and I'm
Right.
analyzing this data.
No, that's cool. I never thought of it that way from just its evolution perspective.
Yeah.
It's good to know that. And you brought up the Milwaukee ecosystem.
Yeah.
So again, how did you land up here?
I was born here. I'm from
Okay.
Milwaukee. So, with the exception of a few years in college and a few years as an adult, I basically lived in the Milwaukee area. The furthest I've ever really gone is Green Bay. So I lived there for a couple of years.
All right.
And then, like I was saying, as an adult, I didn't live in the Milwaukee area. I still worked in the Milwaukee area. We were
Yeah.
up in West Bend for a little while. So that's not very far at all. But yeah, so this is where I'm from.
Cool. How have you seen this ecosystem kind of evolve from a tech perspective and even a data perspective also?
Like in the Milwaukee area?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's probably people who are more enmeshed in the data atmosphere than I was at the time.
Okay.
Because I kind of had my job and I worked for many years doing the same thing at this law firm. And it's not like I did networking or went to user groups or things like that for data tools. It was I had Microsoft SQL reporting. That's all we really had as a firm. And I know that things like Tableau existed back then.
Yeah.
I didn't know of them till much later. Um, I think that in the Milwaukee area specifically has become much more savvy about data tools and data practices. Certainly in the environments I'm a part of, the pool of people that know of and work in that space has grown exponentially. And so I think overall it's just matured a lot.
Okay.
I would love to see, and I know there's like some tech incubators and stuff like the Sherman Phoenix area, and there's some other um, organizations that exist to like try to bring younger people into the tech space in
Yeah.
different areas of the city.
Milwaukee Tech Hub.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love to see things like that. And I love to see, especially when they focus on younger people,
Right.
because I didn't know of this field until I was an adult. Would love to see them, almost go to high schools and say, look, these are really big careers. Like these are really important spaces to work in.
Right.
And bring opportunity of working in data to young women or to, minorities or to people who are of, lower socioeconomic classes. It would be great to bring that opportunity because if I can learn to code, like anybody can learn to code.
Yeah. No, I love when you kind of explain that because a lot of the questions that we've been kind of getting is how to break into data science careers,
Yeah.
especially if you've not had like that background.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you this later on in our segment also, but I think it's just natural to
Sure.
ask you here.
Yeah. How do you kind of break into the world
Yeah,
of data
yeah.
science?
Yeah.
So I know on the data analytics space, there's a lot of tools that will give you free copies of their software if you're a student.
Yeah.
Tableau has got, their Tableau public tool. So
Right.
it doesn't give you full functionality, but almost full functionality.
It's
And
really
you can
good.
start to build an online portfolio
Yeah.
in their Tableau public space where you can post online for anyone to see your sample visualizations. I know Alteryx gives away free licenses through their Alteryx for Good program. I know tools like Python are free. You can download the packages and kind of start to play with data.
Yeah.
And I know that there are online courses. I'm trying to remember, I took a course in R a number of years ago, but I know that there's some online where you can go and take like a shortened course where it may only take you a few days to get through it, but
Yeah.
you'll learn the basics of R or Python. Yeah, I would say like if you're a young person in this space or you're a person that wants to get started in this space, just go out there and Google and see what's available. There's a lot of, especially I think networks of people who are willing to share their knowledge
For free.
for free.
Yeah.
a lot of really good content I've always found on like YouTube and GitHub, people willing to say, hey, I've worked through this problem. Here's how I solved it. And even if that solution doesn't 100% pertain to what you're doing, you can glean enough from it to have a good starting point.
Absolutely. I think what you're saying is answering another question that we are getting quite a
Mhm.
lot is there a requirement for having a analytics degree? Like, do you need a bachelor's and a master's
Mm.
to be able to kind of get there? Do you have any thoughts on that? Just unfiltered thoughts on
Yeah,
it?
my unfiltered thoughts is no, because I don't. I have a journalism degree. I have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a master's. In the line of work where I am, it's always seemed more valuable to have certifications than to
Okay.
have a master's. I know I have many colleagues that have gone back and got masters, and I don't mean to demean the work they're doing
Yeah.
there. They bring up really interesting things in conversations. There's a woman that I work with named Frankie. She's getting her master's right now, and she will come, into the office and say, "Hey, I'm taking this class. We're discussing this," and it's like really interesting, thought provoking stuff to think through.
Right.
So I don't mean to demean it at all because I think you
Yeah.
learn a lot that way. But if you don't have the means to do that, I think just getting out there and doing the darn thing will get you just as far. And I guess by that, I mean like, work through some problem that needs to be solved. Build some sort of portfolio, whether it's a GitHub repository, some sort of public facing portfolio of visualizations or something that you put together. Um, so I would say don't let the fact that you don't have that degree hold you back.
Yeah. Um, this is so valuable because a lot of the people who are going to be watching this also are going to be like recent graduates.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people who have talked to myself who are wanting to kind of break through
Yeah.
because they see a lot of these job postings that are um, paying pretty
They're paying
well.
well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're saying there is I think gold, and people should pay attention uh, to that. No, it's the reason why I says
Yeah.
there are a lot of self-limiting beliefs,
Yeah. Oh,
right,
yeah.
that a person has, and sometimes when I say to them, it's easier for them to say, "Oh, but you went to school for it, or you got the masters."
Yeah.
So it's easier for you to say that
It's easier
you
for you to
can,
have the confidence. It's really
yeah.
what they're saying.
But um, if it comes like because you have a journalism degree, I hope
Mhm.
that people are watching this can also say like,
Yeah.
okay, I can maybe also do it
Yes,
and
absolutely.
be effective.
Yeah.
So are there any, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
we had a few questions
Yeah.
that we kind of collected.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to hear them.
we want to just make sure that we take advantage of your amazing experience to,
Again, like you get the experience by just sticking with it. What I've done is like not, I just kept doing the same thing for a long time is
yeah,
really the secret. There's no secret there. It's just stick with it. If this is a field you want to work in, don't take no for an answer. There are a lot of stories out there about people who submitted like movies for consideration or books that became really popular and got denied many, many times. So don't
yeah,
let the fact that somebody told you no or no thanks, we're not interested, stop you from pursuing whatever it is you want for your life.
that's so right. In when you say that, is there something that you can share from like, and we'll get to the questions in a minute,
Sure. Yeah.
but w- when you're making that transition from, let's say, a journalism degree
Yeah.
or getting into this, and you said that there was a natural flow,
Yeah.
but what were some of the things that helped you kind of ease into that perhaps our users or our viewers can like
Yeah.
benefit from?
Well, so the first thing I will always recommend is don't say no. If you have an employer that says, hey, we need you to do this,
Yeah.
this is a thing we want to do. Can you do this? Find a way to do that. Don't ever say that's not my job.
Okay.
Now, there's like, I say that at the same time, understand, like, don't let your employee take advantage of you. You don't want to be doing like two jobs for years on end. Like,
Right.
that's not what I'm suggesting. But that was a thing I did early in my career. I could have said, no, I don't know how to connect a website to a database. I don't know how to do that. Well, I didn't have to do it alone.
Right.
but I got to be part of the process. I got to be there in the room where people were making these decisions about what should the structure of these database tables look like to hold this data. Like,
Right.
what information do we want to capture? Like, I got to be in the project room while those decisions were being made. And so saying yes to those projects got me a seat at that table.
Okay.
And so at first, obviously, I was young. I was just out of college. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I kind of just listened to what other people had to say, but I kept saying yes. Every time they said, okay, now we've achieved that thing, that online form. Now we want to build a web store.
Oh, wow.
We had a bunch of branded items. The law firm had logo apparel
Yeah.
or golf balls, or they did a lot of golf balls at the law firm, or whatever the other little tchotchkes were.
Right.
So then it was a matter of, instead of having all the orders for those items go through one person, let's build a website that our attorneys or their assistants or office managers can go to and order this stuff in bulk.
Yeah.
So instead of having 24 golf balls delivered to the one attorney in Palm Beach, he can have maybe, I don't know, 50 dozen delivered to the office because they know
Right.
they're going to go through 50 dozen in the course of a season. I'm making up that number. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
idea
yeah.
how many dozens of golf balls attorneys go through. But I just kept saying yes to these projects.
Right.
And so maybe that looks a little different for other people. Maybe it's you network and you meet somebody and you kind of just jibe with them. Say yes when they say, well, you want to be on my podcast? Yes, I do. Because it's a new thing, right? Like, I love talking about nerdy things, right?
Yeah.
You probably knew that about me the first time you met me. But I'm going to say yes to these opportunities. I don't always know how they're going to fit in.
Yeah.
But to me, they feel like a good fit and they feel like they're providing value.
Yes.
And we were just saying, you learn all these other skills along the way.
Right.
You know, you talk about creating and producing podcasts, and now we're learning how to edit
Exactly.
things, right? Like,
And
that's
sound.
a whole new sound. You're learning all these new skill sets. I don't know that that's going to fit into my career in 5 years, but I don't know that it won't.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that was a very long-winded answer to that. But
No, that's the beauty of this podcast format, that we can go into a little bit more deeper and more realistic conversations.
yeah.
So I agree with what you say wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That saying yes part
Yeah.
to opportunities that help you build.
I think especially if you see like a little spark of something that's interesting.
Correct.
Like, for me back at that time, I thought anything technology related was cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to learn how to do the thing. And so I knew that went in knowing full well, I didn't know how to write SQL. I didn't know what even table was, but I was going to listen to the other people and I was going to fake it till I figured it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, absolutely. And some of these questions you've already answered, but
Sure.
I want to bring them up.
Yeah.
Because these are the things that are on the minds of a lot of people who will be listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to take advantage. And again, thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely.
You
It's
know
my
how much I
pleasure.
appreciate
Yeah.
you doing this for
And
us.
I'll meet up with you for coffee or tea anytime and we can just
Yeah.
talk about this stuff.
No doubt.
Hey, all, quick break in the podcast to talk about Requisor. Requisor is a AI project assistant that we have built that takes messy ideas and turns them into action plans with milestones and tasks. We have AI agents that actually help on executing on all of those ideas and action plans as well. These agents can be quoting agents, social media agents, and many more that you can also connect your other apps to. So I want you to check out Requisor and how it can help you to take your ideas to execution. Thank you.
It's funny you mentioned like 5 years, because one of the questions, and I think this is coming from more of people who are not just like graduates, but well into their careers.
Sure.
They're asking like, what is the tool set that will ensure me to be employable for the next 5 years? That's one of the questions.
Yeah, I think ultimately understand that the tool set is going to change.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to, like, let's say you know SQL, it's
Right.
very easy for you then to pick up Oracle.
Correct.
Or slightly different versions of SQL. Like Snowflake was very easy for me to learn because I think 90% of it is SQL. There's a couple little gotchas, there's a couple little things that are done differently, but it's having that technology mindset and understanding that I don't necessarily want to be using the same tools in 5 years. They might be obsolete. Maybe those tools will change over time to kind of keep up and still be the top tier tools that you want to use, but maybe they won't.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to see AI integrated into a lot of these tools. Like, how great would it be to have an ETL tool that can infer the data types, not just the type, the field type, but
Yeah.
maybe you do some sort of creation of a data dictionary or data
Correct.
lineage tool as you're bringing data in from one system to the other. Like, that would be a great place to see just that specific tool set be in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I imagine others could change in that way also.
Yeah.
But just know that the only thing constant is change. And I've learned tools already in my career that I don't use anymore.
Right.
But that's okay because they taught me how to think, or they taught me how my brain to sort of be that technological brain that like thinks through how to solve these problems.
So the fundamentals kind of remain constant.
Yeah.
Also, just a disclaimer here too. We didn't talk about this before.
No.
One of the problems I've seen, and sorry if we are just being brutally honest here.
Yeah.
In a lot of these analytics programs, all of the students that I'm seeing are running after Python before they've done like the basics of SQL.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's putting the cart in reverse.
Yeah.
So it's not this was not a planted question or something, but you just said it. And I see this mistake repeatedly because everybody's trying to get into AI, Python, and R without having the fundamentals of SQL done, which I think is wrong.
Yeah, I think it kind of leaves a gap.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And I don't mean to imply in any way that like knowing Python is like a waste. I think that's very valuable. I don't know Python, and I always think, well, I should learn that, but in my day-to-day job right now, I wouldn't be using it, so I would lose it.
Oh yeah.
But I do meet people who can do these really sophisticated modeling things in Python, but don't know how to write a SQL query. And don't ever forget, though, it's great to be able to write, I don't know, do some modeling or machine learning, whatever thing, really sophisticated thing you're going to put in place. But you have to presume all your data is ready to use by that point.
Okay.
And so if you aren't the person to do that, somebody else on your team has to be able to do that. And there's still a lot of steps. There's still a lot of like kind of old school steps that have to be put into place so that your data is ready for AI.
Exactly. The foundation has to be still like built. We'll come to the AI part also because I want to dive a little deeper in that segment. One of the other questions that has come here is the resume dead for data analytics, and is there more traction with having a portfolio? I know you touched on it with like Tableau Public and like building your GitHub repository. Could you expand on this a little bit?
I think that both are still needed because I think they're for different audiences. Your resume you're going to submit to like the recruiter, right? They're not a technical person. They literally want to tick boxes. They need a person that has X number of years of experience, that knows this technology, that thing, the other thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the resume is still for. And then your portfolio rather is for the people who actually do the work. Like if I was asked to maybe review a candidate and they don't have a portfolio, I'd be like, okay, well, how would we really know that this person says they're really good at Tableau or Power BI or whatever? How do we really know that?
Yeah.
So I think that your portfolio is more for the technical hiring manager or the technical people who are brought in to sort of judge your skill set and your fit with the company.
Yeah.
And so I think they're both relevant, but sort of for different audiences.
I think that's a great way to kind of put it. But
because the hiring manager, sorry to cut you off, but the hiring manager might look at your portfolio and go, wow, that's really pretty. Or, hey, that's a lot of code out here in this GitHub.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really mean anything to them. They don't know technically why that's important.
Yeah. You hit it on the nail over there. So practical advice, because we try to keep this conversation how people consuming it can get value out of it, is to have both.
Yeah.
Your resume as well as a good portfolio that you can showcase your work in.
And another just side note, my brain just works this way. Go create a resume. And if you're going to work in data analytics, go out there with some of those visual tools and build yourself a resume. It's kind of like I equate it again back to my journalism degree, but the
Right.
first assignment they have you do is write your own obituary
Okay.
because you know your life and what your goals are for your life. And it's just a simple practice to get kind of your writing skills and write up an obituary. But you'll see them on a lot of these different publicly hosted sites where people create a visual resume for themselves to
Yeah.
show your experience, to show the weight of your knowledge in different tools or different skill sets. So I encourage that's a really good practice.
Like show them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show them what you and you've literally done the thing
Right.
by
That you're
building.
saying that you can do.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's an awesome tip. Wait, I'm a little hung up on the
Okay.
on the obituary.
Yeah, yeah.
So every journalism student has to do this, or
Well, back when I was in school, we did, and it was like the first thing you would write. It's mostly fantasy. You can
Okay.
make up whatever about your life that you want. You can say
Right.
you had 27 children and you made billions of dollars. Like it's all for fun, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's more about how to technically write the thing,
The
right?
thing,
So
okay.
there's a certain format. You want to use AP style. There's a certain like cadence when you're writing things like
Right.
that, a news story, for example. And so it's just a fun way to get everybody into it and like writing a piece in this like technical style that also is kind of fun. That's how they used to do it, at least back when I was in school. Now they may be like, oh, that's kind of morbid, but it was always like a fun exercise. And they'd be like, have you written your obituary?
Obituary. Okay. Fun little tangent. We'll just take one more question, and then I think you've answered a lot. I think the listeners are going to get a lot of value, especially
good.
from like
Hopefully.
actionable things that they can do.
Yeah.
Here, I know we touched upon this a little bit earlier, but just to get a little bit more into people who do not have that tech background,
Yeah.
right? I keep coming back to it,
Yeah.
and all those self-limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
What are, if we have to summarize in like three things that they can be doing in order to get like into the data analyst track? What are the top three things that you recommend for them who do not have a tech
That don't have
background?
the tech background. Well, first, I would say, again, just do the darn thing. If you're
Yeah.
interested in this and it's something that intrigues you, learn how to write the code or learn how to make a data visualization.
Yeah.
There's a lot of free resources out there that will get you copies of these tools so that you can go out and start creating.
Right.
You're a writer if you say you're a writer. You're an artist if you say you're an artist because you're creating art. Don't wait for somebody else to call you that thing. Just start introducing yourself. Hi, I'm Jane. I'm a data consultant. I'm a data analyst. So that's my first piece of advice. The second piece of advice, which you and I have talked about at great length, is get out and meet people that are in that field. It's going to feel really uncomfortable at first. That's okay. And I realize a lot of tech people especially don't have the personality type that makes that easy for them. But knowing people will get you very far. You never know how somebody else is going to come back in your life later.
Yeah.
You never know. Like I worked with people years ago that I run into now and they work in a completely different space and they're really valuable people to know.
Yeah.
So I would say number two, get out there and network. There's lots of user groups for some of these products. There's just area networking groups that I've joined over the years just to meet different groups of people. The third thing.
Before you get up to the
Yeah.
third thing, can we? I'd like to just plug in the amazing data AI governance meetup that you host,
Thank
also,
you. Yeah.
which has amazing conversations
Thank
in
you.
it. So we'll put a link to those
That's
in the
great.
city as well.
I appreciate that. We don't always talk about AI. It
Yeah.
just happens to be very top of mind for a lot of people right now.
Right.
So I think in April, we're pivoting a little. We're going to talk about storytelling with data. I think May is something along the lines of automating a lot of processes more from a data engineering standpoint. And then
Yes.
we're going to sort of tie that data engineering together with process automation and an AI for June. So
Perfect.
yeah, I
Great call
appreciate
out.
that. Thank you.
Going on to your third recommendation.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard for me to come up with a third. I'm sorry. I was actually
I'm sorry.
pausing.
That was my
No, it's fine. What would my third thing be?
meet people was your second.
Yeah,
First was do the
thing,
thing.
meet people. I would say just, again, start calling yourself that thing.
Yeah.
If you want to work in data, whatever the preferred title is, or maybe you just want to say you're a data evangelist, you're a data
Yeah.
specialist, something like that. Just start introducing yourself as that. Change your little blurb on LinkedIn.
Right.
I'm Jane Smith. I'm a data evangelist. I'm a data specialist. I'm a data consultant. And just start being thoughtful about how you word things, either
Yeah.
on that resume that's on LinkedIn or when you're applying for jobs. Obviously, you're going to want to word things to be kind of visible through a data lens,
Yeah.
right? Because whether you realize it or not, a lot of the work you may have already done has something to do with the data, or
Correct.
you probably wouldn't be interested in it, right?
Right.
So that would be my, I guess, third suggestion is to just maybe start thinking of yourself as a data
Analyst.
person.
And
Yeah.
if I may add another thing to that also is what's your take on doing these pro bono projects
Mhm.
or just projects that you can do with like unpaid internships?
Sure.
I know there's a balance,
Yeah.
how much free work you want to do and
Yeah.
stop people taking advantage of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's your take on that kind of building a portfolio that way?
I think that can be really valuable because then you actually have data that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone out and built my own data visualizations off of TV shows I like, or
Correct.
I don't know, state parks I've visited was another one I did. That's fun. It does showcase a skill set. I always try to showcase, I was learning about parameters or I was really playing around with actions or things like that when I built this fun dashboard. But there are a lot of organizations like, I don't know, charities that deal with like feeding the homeless or animal charities that could probably really benefit just having a little bit of data work done for them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't discount it completely. Plus, it makes you feel good to feel like you have made a difference and you're not just out there like creating something with pretty colors. But to your point, you do want to be careful that you need to get paid for this. Like,
Right.
if money were no object, then it would be different, right? But
Yeah.
in this world, we've got to be able to pay for our supper. So
Exactly. No. With that, I just want to thank you very quickly for taking on these questions, which are on top of minds of students, people
Mhm.
who are graduating recently, and more into uh, people who are also working as data analysts.
Mhm.
Now, this is a good point to just segment into that. Something which has been bothering um, lot of the people who are already into like a data career,
Mhm.
um, which is like AI, the buzzword right now.
Yeah.
Everybody is an AI expert today. uh, but very realistically, a specific question for you is regarding so just for those users who don't know about and viewers who do not know about data visualization engineers is like we build dashboards using Tableau or
Mhm.
Power BI.
Yep.
That there is a threat to these jobs
Mhm.
where just as how chat GPT took away copywriting,
Yeah.
where you can give a prompt,
Yeah.
write a article on visualization,
Yeah.
that the job of the data visualization engineer will go away by someone saying create a dashboard
Sure.
with so and so and get the data. I'd like to get your thoughts on what that future is looking like for BI, which is business intelligence
Yeah.
tools.
I think that it's going to be a number of years before those tools are completely trustworthy.
Okay.
And even the copywriting ones, you still want to have a person review it to make sure that your AI or your chatbot or whatever is not like hallucinating. They call
Yeah.
it when it kind of goes off script and it gives you a load of crap. So I think the same thing can be said for the data visualizations. I know there's some tools out there like that are brand new or in beta. Tableau Pulse is one of
Yeah.
them. I think ThoughtSpot's got another where you can start just typing plain English and it will start to build a data visualization for you. I think you still need a person, number one, to program that, to create that, and number two, somebody at this point at least to sort of review it and make sure it's correct. I think it's going to be a while before we really have to worry about our jobs.
Yeah.
But the part of the data analyst type of role that will always exist is prepping that data for use in those tools.
Right.
And so maybe some of that does go away, at least the more basic dashboards, which let's face it, there's still a lot of people who just want a dashboard to look like a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So AI can have all those. Maybe it'll shift to analysts doing the more sophisticated parameter driven or action driven dashboards.
Right.
It'll be interesting to sort of see where that goes.
Hmm.
But that's kind of my basic thoughts on that.
It's not clear, right?
to be very
Yeah.
honest, like which way it will go.
Yeah.
Because Tableau, which is also one of the business intelligence tools,
Mhm.
it had the ask data feature for a long time,
Yeah.
which was
And it didn't
kind
really
of
go anywhere, did it? Yeah.
nobody really. I've never heard anyone talk about it
Yeah.
super passionately,
Mhm.
but it's come into relevance now. I think Tableau Pulse is also an extension of it in a way,
Yeah. Yeah.
where you type things and it just generates for you.
Mhm.
But is it still away? You would say like 5 to 10 years away in
Maybe
maturity?
even less than that. Maybe 3 to
Okay.
5 is more that'll be more mature and more something that you can trust.
Right.
And I think about some of the tools that are used right now that do some of the data science work. Like, again, I'm not a data scientist, but
Yeah.
I use tools like Alteryx that they've got pre-built tools that will take care of probably 80% of what I need.
Right.
It's that 20% that you really need a data scientist for and to write your custom code or to um, kind of get you more sophisticated results. And maybe that's where the data analytics space will go too,
Yeah.
where some of these tools will get you 80% of the time what you need, but
Right.
you're still going to need somebody to really do the more sophisticated work in some of these data visualizations. I could see it going that way. I don't know.
It remains to be seen. It'll
Yeah.
be very interesting, and I hope we continue to like do this. And in a few
Yeah.
years' time, when we do this thing again,
Yeah.
uh,
We'll see. Well, I was wrong. Or
what we were speaking, has this like has it come into existence?
yeah.
Um, Another few. This is again controversial questions in
Okay.
data.
Okay.
That's this segment.
All right. I like it.
Tableau versus Power BI.
Oh. Well, I came up with Tableau. So I challenged myself to get better with Power BI.
Okay.
And it's almost like if you speak Spanish, you think you should be able to figure out Italian, but they're totally different.
Yeah.
So I know it's not as difficult as what my brain is making it out to be.
Yeah.
But it was difficult for me to learn Power BI because they just do work differently. I think now though what it delivers, they're pretty on par as far as what they deliver. So whether you've got somebody who's a Power BI specialist or a Tableau specialist, in the end, you're going to get a dashboard that does all the things you need it to. There's
Right.
no longer functionality differences between them.
Okay. And so your personal preference still lies with Tableau? Is
It
that
is,
what?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And what's your take on some of these? They're not newer anymore, but
Yeah.
Looker, ClickView. As the reason why I asked this is I was talking to a few students, and they were asking like in our obviously these are in the data visualization track, that does it make sense for them to add more and more of these tools to
Yeah.
their repertoire?
Yeah. And I think once you've learned one, you can get the gist of another one.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's less about what tool you use and how well you can use it. So if you walk into an organization, like if I got hired tomorrow to work with a client that used Power BI, I would learn Power BI. You
Okay.
could just become immersed in that thing and you learn how to make it work. It's no different than, the first time we had to read data from APIs or you were scraping data from a website, right? It's all new, but you can get the hang of it. I've not really had a whole lot of use case to like dig into learning any of those other tools. Click, and I think there's a Google something, isn't there?
Google bought Looker, if I'm not
Oh, they bought
mistaken.
Looker. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But so I haven't really investigated or used those or done any trials with them. Um, yeah, I wouldn't get too like you said, you don't want to spend too much time investing in one technology if
Yeah.
you can get hired using a different one. Be familiar with it, be flexible enough to understand that they all sort of work the same way
Yeah.
and that you can learn the rest as you go.
Absolutely. I know. And that flexibility that you talk about is
Mhm.
important, because if you have the basics right, then you can build and translate yourself into other tools.
Yeah. And just know that you're not the first one to be really frustrated when an employer or a client pulls the rug out from underneath you and is like, well, we're going to do this now. And it's like, okay, good, good. Glad I spent so much time doing that other thing. It happens. It's how it goes. And um, different organizations will make decisions based on budget or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to pivot, and it can make you feel like your work is not appreciated. It happens to all of us.
No, absolutely. I know you have also gone into a little bit of depth, quite a lot of depth actually, on the privacy of data
Mhm.
in the other podcast which you host,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the Dream City Calculations.
Yes.
And we're going to link that one out too. So
Cool.
I encourage everyone who is listening to this, go check those out as well.
Thank you.
Is there any episode schedule that you have upcoming that
Yeah.
people can watch out for that too?
Yeah, yeah. So our goal is to do one a month because we all have full-time jobs and a bunch of other side projects and things that we like to do. But so we try to publish a new episode at the beginning of each month.
Yeah.
So you've already alluded to the fact that last month was about data privacy and kind of all the ways that you don't realize that
Yeah.
your maybe data could be used. Next month episode is about data manipulation and about
Okay.
how you could easily, and maybe even without meaning to, skew the data, or at least skew the data ranges of what you're showing to make numbers look bigger or more important or less important than what they are. So
That's fantastic. We are looking forward to more content coming out of it. Again, just wanted to thank you, especially for taking the time. And this is going to be so much benefit to people who
Good.
are like listening and getting actionable advice.
good.
So thank
I'm
you
glad.
so much that
I'm
you
always
did
of the
this.
mind, like, if we can pull more people into this profession, I mean, if I can learn how to do it, anybody can.
Yes. Colleen, I have so many like more questions, and there's so many things because this is such a vast topic.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll like talk again,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this is a nice cliff to leave the users and I don't know why I'm calling it users because I'm just used
Yes,
to
users, because we all think about users and how they're
no,
going to
it's so
consume what we're
stupid.
doing.
I don't know if I'll be able to edit it out, but no,
We're
thank you so much.
users.
You've been
Absolutely. Thank you.
terrific. All the best with everything that you're doing in the
Thank
community
you. Thank you.
as well, for data governance and all the other things. And we are always supporting you.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll do the same. We'll share links to your podcast when this airs as well.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Naveen.
Thank you.
Good to see you.